today is, the launch to the world of a fully operational urban airport. The first time ever in the world that there's an operational piece of infrastructure of this kind.
I think you'll see some operations this decade, but I think the 2030s will really be the decade of advanced air mobility, and you'll really start to see this be more ubiquitous from that point on.
You are what?
In association with Sensodyne Daily Sensitivity Protection, Voltas Pure Air Adjustable AC.
You're with the news here on India Today with me, Shiv Aroor. This is 5 Live. We've got a big political news break, a super exclusive news break coming in from Karnataka that goes into elections in less than a year from now. I'm going to bring that to you, but first, as always, the headlines. Prime Minister Modi in Japan for the Quad Summit, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework in focus. Prime Minister addresses Indian diaspora, says India is resetting the world order. Varanasi District Court to pronounce mega Gyanvapi verdict on plea to worship Hindu idols tomorrow. The hearing over after arguments by both competing sides today in a 45-minute session. Is it a Gyanvapi moment for Karnataka's Mangaluru? Hindu temple-like architecture found inside a mosque during renovation work. India Today is the only channel reporting the story with claims from both sides. Shocker from Kerala rally by Islamist Popular Front of India. Young child seen openly giving death threats to Hindus and Christians. Time to end the Madarsa system, says Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma. Claims everyone knows what happens there in the garb of education. Union Minister Piyush Goyal leads Indian delegation at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, with the aim to project India as the world's foremost investment hub. Chief Ministers and Netas from 6 states are part of the team. India Today, as always, leading the coverage from Davos.
We were very keen that the world sees India in full strength. All the states have interacted with me over the last 2-3 days. They're all very excited to be here to showcase their states.
And we've got a big breaking story coming in for you from Karnataka, the state that goes to elections in less than a year from now. And now the opposition Congress has dropped a huge hint on who will be the chief ministerial face of the Congress party. DK Shivakumar, in an exclusive conversation to India Today, has dropped the biggest hint that he could be the chief ministerial face of the Congress party in next year's assembly elections to Karnataka. He says that he has taken the party to new heights and further said that there is no feud between him and Siddaramaiah. He's also the state president of the Karnataka. He has evaded this question in a very pointed manner for many weeks together. But on India Today, DK Shivakumar, the most charismatic Congress face, the state president in Karnataka, has dropped the equivalent of a political bombshell by hinting, not claiming outright, but hinting in the biggest possible way that he is going to be the chief ministerial face of the Congress's fight for power in Karnataka. Take a look at this big political exclusive. DK Shivakumar spilling it out to India Today's Supriya Bhardwaj.
There is one statement of yours being quoted in the media that you had said that it took 2 years for you to cook the food and now everybody's coming. What's your take on this statement? Did you give it? And if yes, why, sir?
See, media people are speaking on Chief Minister post. Why now? Why Chief Minister position has come now? Whether whomever may become the Chief Minister. It is when we lost our assembly by-election, when the party MLAs went out of party. No media or any other leader spoke on the Chief Minister. Now after 2 years, when the entire cadres of the party, not only myself, the entire cadre of the party collectively worked, including the leaders, jointly, and now BJP and media is speaking that Congress is fighting for Chief Minister. That shows that already the BJP has lost its ground.
There is one.
Supriya Bharadwaj joining us live on this big breaking story. Supriya, that is about as explicit as it can possibly get. DK Shivakumar, who usually is very careful with his words, if one were to look very closely at what he has said, he is basically hinting, with the biggest possible hint so far, Supriya, that he is going to be the Chief Ministerial face in Karnataka.
Well, Shiv, in that interview, he categorically stated that first and foremost, the topmost priority of the Karnataka Congress and himself, that is of Shiv Kumar himself, is that of delivering the state, and that too with a good solid number. He even went on saying that there are no differences, that as far as Siddaramaiah himself, as well as Mr. Kharge and Mr. Parmeshwar and Mr. Patil, all of them, as well as the cadre, is on the same page that they have to get together, collectively deliver the state. And further on, he went ahead and said that once they have solid numbers, once the state is delivered, then they will go to the High Command and say that the final decision as far as the Chief Minister is concerned. But one thing is for sure, DK Shivakumar has gone all out and spoken at length about as far as the differences in the party is concerned on the Karnataka unit is there. He's saying there are no differences. He's saying this is a very systematically crafted strategy of BJP. He's blaming BJP and certain sections in the media, saying that there are no differences because the BJP cannot take on the Congress in this very form, which they are going all out and attacking the government on the issue of development. That's why this differences story is being planted in this section of the media by the BJP. Now, this is what is really interesting, because there have been continuous reports coming in from the Congress's quarter in the Karnataka, saying that all is not well between DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah. But today, he has kept his version. He has said very categorically that...
I want to play out for our viewers once again exactly what DK Shivakumar has just said. This is huge. Listen into every word that he has just told, Supriya. DK Shivakumar.
There is one statement of yours being quoted in the media that you had said that it took 2 years for you to cook the food and now everybody's coming. What's your take on this statement? Did you give it? And if yes, why, sir?
See, media people are speaking on Chief Minister post. Why now? Why Chief Minister position has come now? Whether whomever may become the Chief Minister. It is when we lost our assembly by-election, when the party MLAs went out of party. No media or any other leader spoke on the Chief Minister. Now after 2 years, when the entire cadres of the party, not only myself, the entire cadre of the party collectively worked, including the leaders, jointly, and now BJP and media is speaking that Congress is fighting for Chief Minister. That shows that already the BJP has lost its ground.
We are hearing that there are these differences between you and Siddaramaiah ji. What's your take on this? Because there are lots of reports coming in that there are differences in Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, especially between you and Mr. Siddaramaiah.
See, it is a very good strategy of the BJP doing it. The BJP knows that they can't come to power. The people are very much angry on their administration. The most corrupt government of this country with 40%. And a lot of other issues are there. And 2 ministers also resigned on various issues. And still some of them may have to. Such situation is coming. So that's just create a perception there are differences. Where is the difference? For what differences? We don't have any differences. We all are one. The entire party is one. There are so many leaders. Not only me, Siddaramaiah, Mr. Karge is there, Mr. Parmeshwar is there, and so many other senior leaders are there in the party. Mr. H.K. Patil is there. A lot of other leaders are there. So let us all work together for see that Congress party comes to power.
Right. Also, sir, there is one statement of yours being quoted in the media that you had said that it took 2 years for you to cook the food and now everybody's coming. What's your take on this statement? Did you give it? And if yes, why, sir?
See, media people are speaking on Chief Minister post. Why now? Why Chief Minister position has come now? Whether whomever may become the Chief Minister. It is when we lost our assembly by-election, when the party MLAs went out of party. No media or any other leader spoke on the Chief Minister. Now after 2 years, when the entire cadres of the party, not only myself, the entire cadre of the party collectively worked, including the leaders, jointly, and now BJP and media is speaking that Congress is fighting for Chief Minister. That shows that already the BJP has lost its ground.
We are
Supriya
hearing
has
that
just
there
scored
are these differences between you and Siddaramaiah.
Let's just listen.
What's your take on this? Because there are lots of reports coming in that there are differences in Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, especially.
Supriya's live with me. Supriya, big exclusive with DK Shivakumar. He is not a leader who usually, reveals very much, but clearly given that, the road to Karnataka's next election is now wide open, all bets are off. The Karnataka Congress is being notoriously in the news for a lot of factional fighting. It looks like DK Shivakumar wants to provide some clarity, and making himself the Chief Ministerial face could be one of those ways to do that, Supriya.
Shiv, he has kept one thing clearly, that there are no differences, and as being the Karnataka Congress chief, he is saying that we all will go together and ensure that we deliver the state. So it's a very powerfully loaded statement where he is saying that not just the leaders but the cadre has to come together and they have to fight and ensure that a solid number is what the Congress party gets, and then only the decision on the chief minister face is concerned. But there is a statement which he is giving is very loaded because of symbolically, he is mentioning that the cadres which have worked from last 2 years along with him and have ensured that the party is in a very favorable position as far as the Karnataka Assembly elections are concerned, they will be also having a huge say. He has said that the first and foremost thing that the Congress party has to do in Karnataka is to ensure that they deliver the state and ensure also the same time that all the leaders, not just Siddaramaiah but even Mallikarjun Kharge, even G. Parmeshwar, these people should also be roped in a big way, and they will also go all out and fight the BJP. One thing which is very interesting, in that very interview, DK Shivakumar has mentioned that from 1st of June onwards, the strategy which the Congress has formed in the Nav Sankalp Shiv will be rolled out in the state of Karnataka also. There will be a Chintan Shivir of 2 days, and also interestingly, the MLC as well as the other candidates would be finalized. DK Shivakumar categorically stating that it is not going to be, just going in a single way. He is going to ensure that the differences are settled, is in a way reaching out to all the senior leaders of the Congress party in Karnataka.
Yeah.
What we are hearing from the sources is that he will ensure that there will be a proper strategy where the interest of all the key players is taken into consideration, and the party is ready for the assembly election, which is just around the corners. What we are hearing from the sources is that one message which is loud and clear from the top brasses, from the top leadership of the party high command to the Karnataka unit is that settle down your differences, go and fight as a single unit. As far as the Chief Minister candidate post is concerned, that question only arises when you win the state and win it with a good number. So this is what the Congress party sources are maintaining, and DK Shivakumar for the first time has clarified that entire situation as far as the differences within the Karnataka Congress and his differences with Siddaramaiah are concerned.
There's a lot of politics going on here, lots of dynamic movements, and obviously there is a power struggle within the Karnataka Congress, like there is in many other parts of the country. But DK Shivakumar trying to put up a united face, to get his entire party unit battle ready for 2023. At the same time, projecting himself, even if subtly, as the first among equals. He is, after all, the state unit president. Supriya, stay with me. Nabila Jamal also joins with me. She's tracked Karnataka politics for a very long time. Nabila, to many neutral observers, what DK Shivakumar appears to be suggesting may not be that unreasonable at all. He's a charismatic mass leader, influential, can-do guy, the go-to man for, whenever there's a crisis within the Congress, even beyond Karnataka. He's making this pitch right now that sounds like he's cut out to be the chief ministerial face. What did you make of what he said to Supriya?
Right, Shiv, it's no surprises that DK Shivakumar is currently trying to position himself as the chief ministerial candidate for the Karnataka Congress. 11 months to go for elections in Karnataka, and it's a no-brainer. For those who are observing Karnataka politics know very well that now in Karnataka Congress there is a Siddaramaiah camp and there is a DK Shivakumar camp. While you have all the senior leaders lobbying for Siddaramaiah, largely because he's a senior leader, he's already been the chief minister, one of the only CMs from the Congress party in Karnataka to have completed the full 5-year term. You have the youth, the younger rung, or the more energized sector within the Congress batting wholeheartedly for DK Shivakumar. In fact, DK Shivakumar has taken over as the Karnataka Congress state president 2 years ago, and ever since he's managed to gather that clout, huge rallies that he's carried out, which has garnered a lot of attention from the youth particularly, and it seems like the prospects in Karnataka when it comes to the Congress party has really been bolstered by DK Shivakumar undoubtedly. He's really a grassroots level worker. He himself came in from the NSUI, grew to the rungs of the district president and then to the KPCC vice working president and now to the KPCC president. So he's an organizational man. He's looked at as a go-to man for any problem or issue within the Congress in Karnataka, and he seems to be the guy who can rake in the numbers in full swing. So DK Shivakumar positioning himself at this point as a CM face is no doubt his strategy to really push himself and for the High Command to take note that he is the man in contention.
So I want to play out once again the operative part of what DK Shivakumar said when Supriya asked him about, the chief ministerial face issue. Listen to that once again. Then I'm going to highlight what DK Shivakumar's strengths are, and we're also going to talk about what kind of regard he enjoys with the Congress High Command, because after all, without that, no matter how charismatic he is, he cannot be the chief ministerial face. But take a look first at what he said. This comment already making shockwaves across Karnataka.
There is one statement of yours being quoted in the media that you had said that it took 2 years for you to cook the food and now everybody's coming. What's your take on this statement? Did you give it? And if yes, why, sir?
See, media people are speaking on chief minister post. Why now? Why chief minister position has come now? Whether whomever may become the chief minister. It is when we lost our assembly by-election, when the party MLAs went out of party, no media or any other leader spoke on the chief minister. Now after 2 years, when the entire cadres of the party, not only myself, the entire cadre of the party collectively worked, including the leaders, jointly, and now BJP and media is speaking that Congress is fighting for chief minister. That shows that already the BJP has lost its ground.
Brijesh Kalapa, senior leader of the Congress party in Karnataka, live with me for a quick reaction. Brijesh, welcome. DK Shivakumar in this big interview to India today, has said that the party unit is fighting as one despite, reports of a factional feud. But very importantly, that comment about having cooked the food for 2 years and now everyone is coming to eat is being interpreted by many, Brijesh, to sound like DK Shivakumar is projecting himself, even if subtly, as the chief ministerial face. Is that what's in the works, Brijesh?
No, I think, Shiv, first of all, I must congratulate you on your parents' anniversary. But secondly, I think, Shiv, the important thing to understand is that, it's ultimately the members of the CLP who will decide who the next chief minister is. And, of course, the High Command will have a role in this. So everybody, including me, may have the hope or the aspiration of becoming chief minister. But each one of us realizes that it's the CLP members and the High Command which finally decides the chief minister's position. So, I might be able to cook food, I might be able to serve food, I might be able to, take it from place to place. But ultimately, it's the long and short is it's the CLP and the High Command which decides who will be the Chief Minister. So this talk is really, is wholly, I think, first misinterpreted. Two, it is, completely unnecessary because elections are 1 year away. So let's see how the electorate finally votes and let's see what finally happens.
Because first of all, Brijesh, thank you very much for your wishes. It sounds like, it sounds then like that the party unit is not really united then, from the sound of what you're saying.
No, the party unit is completely united. Both of them have been working together. Mr. Shivakumar and Mr. Siddaramaiah have been cabinet colleagues for really long now. And whenever there was an important election to face, even when Mr. Chief Minister, Siddaramaiah was Chief Minister, he would always send Mr. Shivakumar there. Why is this? So I think the media has been making too much of a small thing. And that's the media's prerogative. But honestly, there is hardly anything to really speak about now.
But Brijesh, there is a sense, final question, I understand what you're saying about speculation, but there is a sense that, someone who has, worked for these few years to get the party battle ready. I'm just talking about the perception from the outside that DK Shivakumar as the state unit chief at this point of time does stand as a first among equals. So if he is projecting himself in some way, directly or indirectly, there is a sense that it's reasonable.
No, usually what used to happen earlier is that the KPCC president would always be in the zone of consideration to become Chief Minister. But so also the CLP. So ultimately, like I told you, it will be the members of the CLP and the High Command who will decide who the next Chief Minister of Karnataka will be.
Brijesh Kalappa, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for that. Brijesh Kalappa has said things which are going to be interpreted very, very, in a very meticulous manner. He says the elections are still a while away. Anybody can cook food, anybody can serve food, but ultimately it will be the Congress legislature party and the Gandhis who will decide who is going to be the chief ministerial face. Basically, Brijesh Kalappa dismissing anyone or any notion of any individual projecting himself or herself as the chief minister. That is an interesting little microcosm, viewer. I don't know if you noticed it, but what you've basically seen is DK Shivakumar have his say, somebody else from the Congress party have their say, and it shows you the divergence. It's not really a united unit going into this election. It is true that the election is 11 months away, but the point is there are very serious personal divergences, most notably between DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah. Take a look at more from this big breaking interview.
From the day one I took over the charge, I am doing the job as a Congress important functionary. From the day one, we are fighting out. It is not now to launch. The day I took Pratigna, I have taken up the responsibility collectively.
So you'll form the government in Karnataka?
I am sure the people will give a clear mandate for the Congress party to have a very strong government in Karnataka.
So, will you be the chief minister?
See, chief minister issue will be only decided after we have the good solid numbers by my party high command. It is not me or anyone to decide. We may all dream of it. That is not, we should deliver first, then let us discuss on that issue.
11 months to go for the next election in Karnataka, and I promise you, just like this one, we will continue to bring you the big Game of Thrones and where everything actually falls. DK Shivakumar, the guy to look out for as far as the Congress army is concerned. Let's move on to another part of Karnataka now, to another story entirely, but very much part of the polarization politics that is playing out across different parts of the country. After the Gyanvapi controversy in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, a similar case has now come to light in Mangaluru in Karnataka. This comes after a video surfaced showing a Hindu temple-like architectural design discovered on the premises of an old mosque in Mangaluru in April. On the basis of this video, the Hindu right-wing group, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, has raised doubts on whether this mosque was similarly built over a temple. The temple-like structure was found during renovation work at the Jama Masjid in Malali in Mangaluru. Renovation work, which was conducted by mosque authorities, has been temporarily halted at the directions of the district administration, citing sensitivity of the matter. The district administration is now looking into old land records and ownership details of this centuries-old mosque.
ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಹಿತಕರ ಘಟನೆ ನಡೀಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಗಳದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿದು ಒಂದು ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರು ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅನ್ಯೋನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದ ಎರಡೂ ಗುಂಪುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಅಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದೇನಿದೆ ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯತೆ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನು ಕ್ರಮ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನು ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಡಳಿತ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ತಹಸೀಲ್ದಾರ್ ಅವರ ಸೂಚನೆ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಾರಗಳ ಕಾಲ ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕವಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸನ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಸೀದಿ ಕಮಿಟಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಹಿತಕರ ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆಯೋದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಗತ್ಯ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
Joining us live on 5 Live is Bharat Shetty. He's the BJP MLA from Mangaluru. Mr. Shetty, thank you for speaking to India today. Could you tell us where your party stands on this claimed discovery of temple artifacts or architectural designs inside this mosque in Mangaluru that was under renovation? Apparently, all work in that mosque has been halted, citing sensitivity in the matter. Where does the BJP stand and how are you seeing this?
See, the thing is, during the demolition of the mosque, when this temple-like structure was seen, totally the local people were very apprehensive about what is this, what has happened, and there have been historical references also for few temples being present in that area, and they're not being seen now. They're not visible anywhere around. So they were very apprehensive, and Vishwa Parishad and a few Hindu leaders have approached the court, and they've got a stay on the demolition. There's a stay on the demolition order now. Now, after that, there's a Tambula Prashna, as your reporter just told now. It's a part of astrology in Hindu belief system. The locals have asked for a Tambula Prashna Puja. It will be held in that village only, somewhere in that village.
But, the work of that renovation in the Juma Masjid has been stopped just on the word of the VHP. Who has said that it is an ancient temple there? Could it not be the wall of a mosque as well? Because, with what's happening with the Gyanvapi, it is court sanctioned. There are videographers and surveyors there. There is due process going on there. Why has this happened here?
So there is nothing wrong in doing a survey of this thing. Let the truth come out, whatever the structure it is. Let the competent authority go ahead with that and let them give a report on that. That is our stand as of now.
No, because Mr. Shetty, the opposition and other observers will say that this is a Gyanvapi-like situation that is being replicated in different parts of the country in order to reap polarization dividends ahead of election season. Even in Karnataka, that's coming up. How would you respond to that? That this has nothing to do with Mandir Masjid, it's about polarization.
No, I don't think we should put political color to this issue. It should be handled, it's a social issue. We need to know what has happened before. And every time this issue is come forward, everyone is hiding behind the Praise of Worship Act. We are just not claiming anything. We need to know what's the truth. I think
Mr. Shetty, as you yourself have seen, Karnataka has been a kind of canvas for a lot of very polarizing stories, from hijab to halal to the Muslim traders. We're seeing the Azan Hanuman Chalisa issue also echo in Karnataka. Now you've got this. I'm wondering, as an elected representative, don't you think that incidents of this kind, I'm not commenting on the merit of them because, hopefully the courts and the police will decide what can and cannot happen there. But don't you think that this is sort of spoiling communal harmony, increasing the communal divide on the ground there in Mangaluru, sir?
Not at all. We have a right to know the truth. The present generation needs to know the truth. We have been reading history which has been modified as the historians wanted it to. Let the truth come out. the society will decide what direction it has to go. We can't hide from the society all these things.
Bharat Shetty, thank you for speaking to us here on India Today. We're taking a very quick break. On the other side, I'm taking you straight to Tokyo. Remember, India's Prime Minister is there. He's just had a big Milan with Indian Desis in Tokyo. We're going to show you the big highlights. Lots of viral moments already, Modi style. I'm going to show them to you when you come back.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. You are...
Prime Minister Modi is in Tokyo, and in just a few hours since he arrived there, there have been multiple viral moments already, including his interaction with little children and in signature style, that big Milan with India's diaspora, the Japanese Desi Janta, as it were. There were chants of Har Har Mahadev and Jai Shri Ram as the Prime Minister gave out a strong message to Indians and the world, declaring that India is a symbol of resilient democracy for the world. The Prime Minister also invoked the special relationship between India and Japan, saying how the two nations were joined spiritually.
एक प्रकार से रिश्ता हमारा सामर्थ्य का है, ये रिश्ता सम्मान का है और ये रिश्ता विश्व के लिए साझे संकल्प का भी है। जापान से हमारा रिश्ता बुद्ध का है, बोध का है, ज्ञान का है। शुरू में तो ऐसा ही लग रहा था, वहां आया है, यहां क्या है, किसी को पता नहीं था इसको कैसे हैंडल किया जाए। और न वैक्सीन भी नहीं थी और न इस बात का कोई आइडिया था कि वैक्सीन कब तक आएगी। यहां तक कि इस बात पर भी डाउट था कि वैक्सीन आएगी या नहीं आएगी। चारों तरफ अनिश्चितता का माहौल था। उन परिस्थितियों में भी भारत ने दुनिया के देशों में दवाएं भेजी। जब वैक्सीन्स अवेलेबल हुई तो भारत ने मेड इन इंडिया वैक्सीन्स अपने करोड़ों नागरिकों को भी और दुनिया के 100 से अधिक देशों को भी भेजी। आजादी का ये अमृतकाल भारत की समृद्धि का, संपन्नता का एक बुलंद इतिहास लिखने वाला है। दोस्तों, मैं जानता हूं कि ये जो संकल्प हमने लिए हैं, ये संकल्प में आप पे बहुत बड़े हैं, लेकिन साथियों, मेरा जो लालन पालन हुआ है, मुझे जो संस्कार मिले हैं, जिन जिन लोगों ने मुझे गढ़ा है, उसके कारण मेरी भी एक आदत बन गई है। मुझे मक्खन पर लकीर करने में मजा नहीं आता है, मैं पत्थर पर लकीर करता हूं।
One of the most viral moments that happened today, right after the Prime Minister landed, like it was with his Europe trip a few weeks ago, the Prime Minister's interaction with children have become the big eye-catcher moment just as he arrived in Tokyo. Take a look at this.
मेरा नाम वित्सुकी है, मैं ग्लोबल इंडियन स्कूल 5वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता हूँ। जापान में आपका बहुत स्वागत है।
वाह वाह।
May I have your signature please? May you have your signature please?
तो कहाँ से सीख लिया तुमने हिंदी? हैं?
Yes, I learned.
हैं? बहुत अच्छा जानते हो? वाह। वाह। और जापानी में क्या लिखा है?
Same here, same.
ये
हिंदी में
3 भाषा लिख दिया।
Prime Minister Modi is in Tokyo, and according him, a welcome in Tokyo were these children from a global Indian institution where there are, of course, some of them Japanese, in fact, who are learning Hindi as well, Indian students as well, who were there, in fact, bearing these placards, writing down poems as well, welcoming the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, of course, had a very interesting interaction with Ritsuki. Ritsuki, can you tell us what you told the Prime Minister?
I said 3 sentences. मेरा नाम वित्सुकी है, मैं ग्लोबल इंडियन इंटरनेशनल स्कूल के 5वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता हूँ। जापान में आपका बहुत स्वागत है, धन्यवाद।
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. You speak a lot of Hindi. You're fluent with Hindi.
No, I have prepared those 3 lines only.
Okay, but do you study Hindi? Are you studying Hindi? Okay. Do you like the language?
Yeah, I wish to get better, but I need more practice for that.
And the Prime Minister was expected in many respects to provide either direct or indirect responses to some scathing attacks that Congress leader Rahul Gandhi made on a foreign visit that he's currently on at Cambridge University. Taken pot shots at the government and India sitting in Cambridge. Here's how the Prime Minister is seen to have responded from Tokyo.
भारत में डेमोक्रेसी सामान्य से सामान्य नागरिकों के हकों के प्रति कितनी सजग है, कितनी समर्पित है और हर नागरिक को कितना सामर्थ्यवान बनाती है.
India is not in a good place. The BJP has spread kerosene all over the country. You need one spark and we'll be in big trouble.
Want to go across to India Today's Poulomi Saha joining us live from the beautiful city of Tokyo. Poulomi, very, very high profile, high voltage event so far. That, Desi Milan, which is Prime Minister's signature style interaction with all those little kids. Many, many viral moments going so far. Give us a sense of, how this first day has set up the stage and cleared the decks for a very, very important day 2 and that Quad Summit, Poulomi.
Absolutely, Shiv. As we've been telling our viewers through our coverage of the Prime Minister's visit to Japan, is that he is only here for 40 hours and there are 23 engagements that are lined up for him. So he's had a busy day already, and tomorrow, of course, is the more crucial day when he, of course, attends the Quad Summit with US President Joe Biden, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. That is going to be extremely significant, but already today he's got down to business quite literally as he sat down with the corporate honchos, businesses, in fact, the leaders of one-on-one meetings with Suzuki Motor Corporation, NEC, SoftBank Group, and Uniqlo as well. He also, in fact, presided over a roundtable of Japanese business delegations of 36 corporations, in fact, interacted with Prime Minister Modi. Remember that Japan is already, in fact, Prime Minister Kishida, when he was in India in March, had already, in fact, promised and committed towards 5 trillion yen towards private and public enterprises in India. So investments are pouring in from Japan, and India hopes that it can be, in fact, enhanced as well, that economic cooperation. But of course, very, very significantly, something which was a very strong message that went out to China as well was, of course, the launch of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, a US-led initiative, not exactly a trade agreement, but a trade initiative where the US is, of course, trying to enhance its economic position in the Indo-Pacific region in order to counter China's influence, and India has come on board with that. So clearly, a strong message which is being sent out to China, and already you had the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi react to it and say that this is confrontational in nature, this is not good for peace and stability, but this is about economics, and India and the US and the 11 other nations that are already a part of this initiative know what they're doing, and they're looking at enhancing their economic cooperation with this initiative. So that is the big takeaway, Shiv, from today.
Decks cleared for that big summit tomorrow. Lots of work already done. Great things to achieve tomorrow. Let's see how it goes. Thanks very much, Poulomi, for getting us that update. Poulomi reporting from Tokyo. We'll have all the updates ahead and during the Quad Summit as well. Like she said, 40 hours, 23 meetings. That's what the Prime Minister has on his schedule as part of just this 2-day visit. He kick-started the Whirlwind Tour with this rousing welcome from the Indian diaspora, along with that interaction I just showed you with several children and the business community. Here's a quick wrap of day 1 of Namaste Tokyo.
"40 hours, 23 meetings, talks with 3 world leaders and a diaspora outreach." Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2-day whirlwind tour to Tokyo.
Marked with his trademark interaction with the Indian diaspora.
फलक देखा है इंटरनेशनल सीन पे मोदी जी ने भारत का जो नाम बढ़ाया है और काफी अच्छा लग रहा है.
And relationship not only it's getting limited, I'm saying it is going beyond limitation. So we are really thrilled. एक ही नारा, एक ही नारा.
5वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता हूँ. जापान में आपका बहुत स्वागत है. May I have your signature, please? May you have your signature, please?
तो कहाँ से सीख लिया तुमने हिंदी? हैं?
Yes, I learned.
हैं?
India once again on the world's radar with Prime Minister Modi's visit. From the Quad summit in Tokyo to bilateral talks on post-COVID recovery, the Ukraine war and climate change. 36 Japanese CEOs and the Indian diaspora are all part of Modi's power-packed itinerary.
You can see that Indian community present and in fact acknowledging and cheering out loudly as Prime Minister Modi here arrives in Tokyo. You can see he's coming down right now to acknowledge his supporters who have come in here from the city of Tokyo and from across Japan.
US President Joe Biden, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and the newly elected Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will sit with Prime Minister Modi at the Quad high table.
There are various elements in the program. The Quad is the core element of the entire visit. So there will be Quad-related events with Quad. There will be bilaterals with other three leaders. The US President, the newly elected Australian Prime Minister, and of course the Japanese Prime Minister.
All eyes are on the Modi-Biden interaction, the latest after a series of high-profile engagements between both the giants, coming closer than ever before.
Apart from participating in the Quad Summit, Prime Minister would also hold bilateral meetings with the President of the US, Prime Minister of Japan, and with Prime Minister of Australia.
Big interest is also riding on Modi's bilaterals with the Japanese and Australian Prime Ministers. Modi and Kishida will carry forward their conversations from the 14th India-Japan Annual Summit held in March 2022, when the Japanese Prime Minister visited New Delhi. Modi and his Australian counterpart will review comprehensive strategic partnership and exchange views on regional and global developments of mutual interest. With Paulami Saha in Tokyo, Bureau Report, India Today.
And while in Japan, how can one not visit the final resting place of one of India's greatest heroes, Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji, that's right, the Renkoji Temple in Tokyo. India Today's Paulami went there to send us this amazing report.
But joining me right now is the priest of Renkoji Temple. Sir, my question to him is, if you could interpret for us, is what does he believe lies in that pagoda?
では聞きたいのはそちらに使っていただいているのはそれはチャンドラボースのいくつかというどういう考えていますか？いくつだということではお預かりしています。Yes, he believes that they are the ashes that belongs to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Can he tell us how did the ashes come to this temple?
で聞きたいのはこのいくつはどうやってこのお寺に来ましたか？
昭和20年1945年の8月18日にネタジが台北の空港で事故死してその時に一緒に乗ってた、日本の軍の方もいて、その方たちが日本にお骨を持ってきてこちらで葬儀をしてそれからずっとお預かりしているという状況です。
So in 1945, August 18, in the Alish plane crash, Netaji supposedly died, and from there the ashes were brought by the Japanese authority who were there at that point of time. They came to Japan along with the ashes, and since then his grandfather, at that point of his grandfather was managing this temple, and since then his family has been preserving the ashes.
The Mukherjee Commission was here as well. Can you ask him a little bit about that?
であとは、大体2002年とかのあたりにインドのムカルジ判事という方が、この遺骨について調べるためには、日本にあちこち行きましたので、リンコ寺にも来ましたんですけれど、でそちら来る時の思いとかは持っていますか？もう思い出。
確認なくて前じゃない。はい。
He was not there at that point of time. His late father was there, so he don't have any memory for that visit.
We heard earlier that he and the temple would like to return the ashes to India. Can you ask him about that?
では、木月先生としては、この遺骨を、インドにまた返したいという理解で正しいでしょうか。
一ついただけるのであれば、お返ししたいと思います。
Yes, if Indian government asks, then he would definitely like to hand over so that Netaji's ashes can go back to India.
Remember, today were all of these meetings, but the Prime Minister also attended the Indo-Pacific Trade Initiative, that has been led by the US to counter China. President Biden, who met with Prime Minister Modi today, formally unveiled the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, where he also held talks with the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. China has already reacted to this initiative, calling it a strategy that creates divisions and incites confrontation. The Chinese Foreign Minister called it a strategy that is bound to fail. Remember, China has had similar sentiments about the Quad, the big summit that Prime Minister Modi, President Biden, and the leaders of Japan and Australia will be attending together tomorrow, representing the 4 countries that make up the Quad.
यह उल्लेखनीय है कि विश्व का सबसे प्राचीन कमर्शियल पोर्ट भारत में मेरे होम स्टेट गुजरात के लोथल में था। इसलिए यह आवश्यक है कि हम क्षेत्र की आर्थिक चुनौतियों के लिए साझा समाधान खोजें, रचनात्मक व्यवस्थाएं बनाएं। एक्सेलेंसी, भारत एक इंक्लूसिव और फ्लेक्सिबल इंडो पैसिफिक इकोनॉमिक फ्रेमवर्क के निर्माण के लिए आप सभी के साथ काम करेगा। मेरा मानना है कि हमारे बीच रेजिलियंट सप्लाई चेन्स के 3 मुख्य आधार होने चाहिए: ट्रस्ट, ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड टाइमलीनेस। मुझे विश्वास है कि यह फ्रेमवर्क इन तीनों स्तंभों को मजबूत करने में सहायक होगा और इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में विकास, शांति और समृद्धि का मार्ग प्रशस्त करेगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
And in a minute, we're going to show you how Deepika Padukone at the Cannes Film Festival has gone viral once again. And it's all thanks to her street style. Our Entertainment Bureau brings you that report next.
With one...
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
Deepika Padukone is undoubtedly one of the big Indian eye-catchers at the Cannes Film Festival in the French Riviera. Here's a look, here's a report from our Lifestyle Bureau on why she's been going viral so many times. Here's the latest instance.
With one outfit at a time, Deepika Padukone has been making appearances at Cannes in different outfits. The actress has now hit the streets with a stylish sartorial pic. Deepika Padukone took to her Instagram handle to share her new look in which she can be seen on the streets of the French Riviera in a Louis Vuitton ensemble that features a turtleneck pullover and checkered shorts. Without giving out many details in the caption, she simply let her look do all the talking. She dropped another video in which she can be seen in a printed white shirt paired with a pink skirt. Earlier, Deepika wore this black outfit, which she wore with a statement neckpiece and earrings with her hair all tied up. She has been experimenting with different looks at Cannes ever since she arrived.
How was the flight?
Not bad at all, actually. It was an 11-hour flight from LA.
In fact, the actress has been giving her fans a glimpse of her time spent at the French Riviera. Moreover, with back-to-back red carpet appearances, events, meetings, and photo calls, Deepika herself confessed she is indeed tired, but at the same time also very happy.
Are you tired after last night?
It's a different kind of tired. It's that tired with like joy.
For the unversed, Deepika is representing India as a jury member at the 75th edition of Cannes Film Festival. This film festival commenced on 17th of May and will conclude on 28th of May. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
And even as the Gyanvapi controversy rages in Kashi, in Uttar Pradesh, is there a Gyanvapi-like situation emerging in Karnataka? Is it really the case, or is there a huge communal polarization attempt in Mangaluru? Remember, this is a state that's going to the elections. We ask the big questions and get you the latest on that story with Pooja next.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.